I don't like staying at people's houses on the road. Don't like other people's showers. I can never adjust the temperature right. I don't know the ratios on the dials. You know, sometimes a 16th of an inch is 1,000 degrees. There's always that little hair stuck on the wall of somebody else's shower. And you want to get rid of it, but you don't want to touch it. I don't know how it got up that high in the first place. But we have to fight these battles. We're all alone in the bathroom. Whatever goes wrong, you have to handle it. You ever go to a big party, go in the bathroom, flush your toilet, and the water starts coming up? This is the most frightening moment in the life of a human being, right here. You will do anything to stop this. You'll lose your mind, start talking to the toilet. No, please, don't do this to me. Come on. You know this is not my fault. I'll get you the blue thing, the man in the boat. Just let me off the hook this one time.
If not for you, babe, I couldn't even find the door. I couldn't even see the floor. I'd be sad and blue if not for you. If not for you, babe, the night would see me wide awake. The day would surely have to break. It would not be new. If not for you, the winter would hold no spring. Couldn't hear a robin sing. I just wouldn't have a clue. If not for you. If not for you, the winter would hold no spring. You couldn't hear a robin sing.
You know, I can't believe she's gone. I was watching some Facebook stuff the other day, and they, you know, talked to her heavenly birthday and all. Yeah, Olivia Newton-John is gone? How can it be? Here. When did she, I know she passed away, but let me just take a look here because I'm blacking out when, you know, every once in a while, somebody will post something on Facebook and I'll say, I didn't know that. Hold on, Olivia Newton-John. When did she pass away? She passed away in 2 years ago, August 8th. 2022. Huh. Yeah, I knew she passed away. I just, you know, it's one of these things that you just, wow. You know, whenever I see the in memoriam at the Academy Awards, I always say, wow, I didn't know that. You know, all these people are dead and I wasn't aware of it. Anyway, life goes on. You know, more and more people, too. I have I'm on my high school Facebook page, and they have a memorial page, which is very depressing. I had a very big high school class of over 970 people in my graduating class. So that was pretty big. So people are going to, you know, the attrition rate, you know, people are going to pass away. but they have a list there by year, graduation year, of people who passed away. And I looked through the list recently and I said, whoa, I didn't know that. But, time moves on, I guess. I'm Don Rosen. On that cheerful note, as we start our morning, it's 6:11 on this Wednesday morning. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to start it so negatively. I just heard Olivia Newton-John. I'm saying, gee, I didn't even know that. We're going to have a beautiful sunny day today. Highs in the 60s. Then for tonight, cloudy, chance of showers, lows 44. Tomorrow, showers, highs near 51. And I looked up the weekend. Because, we always want a bright note in our week. The weekend, sunny both days with a high in the 60s. You know what that means? Yard work. We had to dump our yard work in the street. They picked it up yesterday. And I noticed something in the backyard and the front yard. The grass is growing, which means it's going to have to be mowed, which means I'm going to have to get out there and do it. I've been mowing lawn since I'm 12 years old, and I'm tired of it. It's not one of my favorite things. My mower's getting old. I have a battery mower because I don't have a garage. I didn't want to store gasoline in the house. So I got a battery mower. I had an electric one once, too, but that little pain in the butt every once in a while with that cord. But I got a battery one. It's great, except the mower's getting old now. The battery's fine. It's just, the parts are starting to squeak a little bit. So I'll see if I can get one more season out of it, and we'll see what happens here. It's 612 WRJ, and coming up this morning at 7:30, Maggie Dawn's going to be here, host of the Maggie Dawn Show. She's from 2 to 4 p.m. on WRJN Radio. She's got an interesting background. We'll talk to Maggie coming up. I was on with Pete Schwaba on his show last night, and way past my bedtime, but I was on anyway. We had a good time. So much so, we didn't have time to finish, so next Tuesday we'll do it again. Shared some great stories. See, I'm a talker, and I don't tend to shut up because that's what I do for a living. And if I was to stop talking, I'm out of business. So I tend to talk a lot. So I dominated the show. I didn't get to any of the things he wanted to get to. I just started talking away. Hey, looking for cheese for that burger? Check this out. The USDA has 1.5 billion with a B pounds of cheese stashed away in caves in Missouri. This process started 75 years ago as part of a plan to stabilize dairy prices in the country, but now it's mainly used for food assistance programs. What happens to cheese stored in a cave for 75 years? Does it stay? I mean, all I know is I leave cheese in my refrigerator for 2 weeks and it gets moldy. So I'm not laying in a cave for 75 years. A 12-year-old boy in England was out walking his dog when he saw something shiny on the ground. It turns out he found a gold bracelet from ancient Rome that's 2,000 years old. We don't know what it's worth, but I want to know, was it laying there on the ground for 2,000 years and he's the first person to see it? Or did somebody did some Roman warrior drop it? I mean, how did it get there? The story didn't tell that part. It just said he found it. I want to know the backstory on this. Can we get that boy on the air? He's 12 years old. He was in England. It's going to be an expensive phone call. Let's get that kid on the air. I want to find out who dropped it and how long has it been laying there. All right, have you ever tried to fight a speeding ticket? Good luck. But this lady, she's got a case. She's a grandmother in East Cleveland, Ohio, and recently got 2 tickets in the mail for doing 27 miles per hour in a 20-mile-an-hour zone. The fine was $105, but wait a second. Here's the weird part. She wasn't driving the car, and there's proof. An automated traffic camera handed out the ticket, and the footage clearly shows her car hooked up to a tow truck when it happened. The tow truck driver was speeding, but the camera caught her license plate on the car that was being towed. See, I want to go to court, and I want to hear when the judge says, dismissed. See, those cameras aren't always accurate. Yes, they got a speeding vehicle, but in this case, it wasn't her car. All right, we got a record here. Beyonce's 6-year-old daughter, Rumi Carter, made history. Is it Rumi or Rumi? Rumi? R-U-M-I? Rumi Carter? Made history as the youngest female artist ever to land on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Now, she didn't sing the song, which is featured on the song Protector from that Cowboy Carter album from Beyonce, and she becomes the youngest ever. I was thinking back when I was 6 years old. I think I was trying to master Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star at that point. I don't think I quite had it down. All right, something called the birthday effect is in the news. You're not going to like this. Statistically, you're more likely to die on your birthday than any other day of the year. It's partly because celebrating too hard with alcohol leads to more accidents and heart attacks. Well, what about we people that don't celebrate hard? I don't celebrate hard on my birthday. Am I still going to die on my birthday? You know, it happens a lot. People do die on their birthdays, but yeah, I don't think that's going to be me. I hope not. My birthday's next month. Some diners are going viral now. Get this, they were charged $200 for a meal they thought was at an all-you-can-eat buffet. They were actually being charged by the plate. Now, I find this interesting. We always say, how much food do we really eat at the buffet? Well, in this case, these people were eating $200 worth each. So they were eating a lot. You do eat a lot of food at the buffet, $200 worth. Showbiz news. You can check out the trailer for the Fly Me to the Moon romantic comedy set around the Apollo 11 moon mission. It stars Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum. Sounds like it might be a fun movie. And Robert Downey Jr. says he's happy to play Iron Man once again. Well, yeah, he got his Academy Award for Oppenheimer. Now he can afford to do all the other stuff. Yeah. Hey, if you want to know local news and you say, gee, Don, where's your local news? I'll get to it later this hour. But you can always go on WRJN.com. Local news is there, audio. You can also read it. You can get all your local news at WRJN.com. Stuart J. Waddles and the Civic Media News Department are constantly updating the news at WRJN.com. Or you can download the Civic Media app. You can do it either way. Civic Media app, go to WRJN, or go to any one of our radio stations across the state of Wisconsin. Check out the local news up north, east, west, south. We got it all covered. So go to the Civic Media app, download it, or just go to WRJN.com if you want to know local news. We got you covered here at WRJN, Hometown Radio Refreshed. We are a Civic Media station. We also have baseball coming up today. Got the Brewers still playing the Cincinnati Reds. Another game today, 5:05 p.m. And WRJN, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. Also the Packers, the Bucks, the Badgers. We got you all covered here. So once again, sunny today with a high of the 60s. Cloudy, chance of showers tonight, lows 44. Showers with a high near 51 tomorrow. And a sneak peek at the weekend coming up Saturday and Sunday, sunny with a high in the 60s. Don't you love it? Right now, the sun is coming up. It is beautiful over Lake Michigan. When I was walking in the building this morning, right over the horizon, the sun was starting to come up. It's clear, 45 degrees now at Racine. I'm Don Rosen. Thanks for joining us here. WRJN, Hometown Radio, refreshed. thinking of this song, so I dug it up. We were talking about that movie, Fly Me to the Moon, coming up. That comedy with Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum. So I said, hey, let's get a moon song up here. Everyone's gone to the moon.
Everyone's gone to the moon.
Jonathan King. Jonathan King, interesting background of that guy. Hold on a second here. An old radio show I did, I had to do a whole history of some of these guys, and I did one on Jonathan King. Let me just see if I can find something on Jonathan King. All right, let's see here. He wrote a lot of songs for other people. Look what he looks like today. Yikes. Let's see, everyone's gone to the moon. He's not that bad. Look, that was a bad picture of him. All right. That's his real name, Jonathan King. Yeah, he wrote a lot of songs for other people, too. You know what he wrote? He produced the song Sugar Sugar for the Archies. Remember that? Also Hooked on a Feeling for B.J. Thomas. A lot of songs. All right. Uh-oh. Oh, he went to prison, Jonathan King. I didn't know that. Whoa. Spent 7 years in prison. All right. Enough with that. It's some things you don't want to know. I didn't want to know that. Oh, no. All right. According to Fortune magazine, the top features that are disappearing from cars. Are you ready? Keys. Now, I still have a key for my car, but most cars don't anymore. They have that keyless entry and start buttons. They're dominating now the market. I had a rental car. Both my cars have keys, but I had a rental car where you have the fob, and you just start it from the fob. How about crank windows? I think they were all but gone. I think our station van outside, which we're getting rid of, but I think the station van has crank windows in it. You don't see those much anymore. Long antennas. Yeah, remember those antennas on the front of the car or the back of the car? You used to have to pull them up all the way to get the radio. Yeah, those are gone. I don't think they're even in the windshields anymore. I think they got rid of them there, too. I don't see it. Yeah, they used to put the wires within the windshield. I don't see those anymore either. Manual transmissions. They'll never go away completely, but I think you have to order them special now. They used to be standard. If you wanted automatic transmission, it was extra. I never drove a manual transmission. I think my wife did. I never drove a car with manual transmission. I tried once. A friend of mine had a Volkswagen Beetle. And I did it once. I was bucking the car and everything. I didn't do it well. Had emergency brakes. They're being replaced by an electronic feature called Hill Hold. I didn't know that. Automatically sets a brake when you're stopped on a hill, then releases it automatically when you touch the gas. I didn't know that. That's a nice feature. None of my cars have it. We still have the old brake. In my car, you got that. You used to have the emergency brake on the floor where you pushed it down. Now you got that lever. You pull, Want to do a survey? The most annoying type of person on an airplane is the person who reclines their seat all the way back. Oh, you know what? And I know it's nobody's fault that I'm 6'3". I know that. This is just the way I am. I'm 6'3", and my legs are very long, and they've got to go somewhere. So when you rudely put your seat back, you crush my feet. I have nowhere to put them. I can't tuck them in anywhere. And so it's very difficult for me to sit on a plane when people put their seat back. So what I do is I kind of make it uncomfortable for them. I move around. I push it with my kneecaps a little bit just to, annoy them. And sometimes they'll move the seat up. Only once did I have to say, can you please move your seat up? My legs were being crushed, and I couldn't fly in a 3-hour flight with my legs being smashed. But the person did it, but it was like begrudgingly. Okay. They should make those seats so they don't recline. Nobody likes those seats reclining on them when they're sitting in the back of it. Get rid of those. All right, how about this? Parents who let their kids run amok on ran a close second. I never was on a flight where kids ran up and down the aisle. I never was on too many baby crying flights or anything like that. I was pretty lucky. How about people with bad hygiene? This is true. I was taking a flight. I was by myself. And the guy sitting next to me, he was a New York City cop or detective. He was the detective, he said. I never smelled such BO in my life. And I was on a 2-hour flight, and I had nowhere to go. And I'm trying to, put things up to my nose so I don't smell them. Oh, this was just, I don't know if it was his clothes or his body, but it just reeked. And for 2 hours, it was on a Midwest Express flight, so there was no middle seat. So I had to sit next to him. It was awful. And then they want to talk, and I don't want to talk because then I got to breathe in and out and smell, and I didn't want to smell. So, all right, what else do we have here? People who hog the armrest. No, I don't usually have that problem. I give it up. I don't care. And people who keep trying to talk to you. See, I'm probably one of those people that wants to talk. I'm probably I am that annoying person. But not on a plane. I mind my own business. I generally bring things to do. I used to bring my little DVD player, set it up there, and watch TV shows with headphones on. Actually, I pretty much stay to myself on a plane. First of all, it's so loud in there, you can't hear anyway. But yeah, I kind of stay to myself. But I don't fly anymore because there are too many nuts flying on the planes these days. They're trying to do. I had a story. I think we did it yesterday. Yeah, we did it yesterday about a woman who wanted to get off the plane because there was a person in the back who wasn't real. These are the nuts that I don't want to fly with. How about the people who want to open the door in mid-flight? How about that? Did you hear what happened the other day? 2 days ago, on takeoff, the engine cover disintegrated and came off the plane. 2 days ago, it came off. It just fell off the plane. And then you can hear the pilot say, we got to turn back. The engine's working, but the cover came off, and it's all exposed now. I think we should turn back. Then you got the wheels falling off that United flight. You got one of the planes going into the grass. Everybody had to be taken off by that slide to get off the plane. And it seems that we're hearing a lot. Oh, the best one, the door just came off in mid-flight. There was 16,000 feet, and the door came off the plane, yeah. I don't need that. I'll walk or take a bus or just drive myself. It's 629 WRJN, Hometown Radio, refreshed. Going to be a beautiful sunny day with a high in the 60s today. Don't you love it?
I'm looking at the Pop-Tarts box, and I noticed they have directions on there. They have 2 full sets of directions. They have toaster directions, which I'm not making this up. The toaster directions are longer than 1 step. I don't know how it's possible that the directions are longer than 1. You think it would be step 1, toast the Pop-Tarts? That they've managed to break it up into smaller increments. These are the actual toaster steps. I want to be in the room watching somebody who has to consult these steps. Okay, number 1, remove pastry from pouch. Okay. I see where they're going with this.
You don't own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. And don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. 'Cause you don't own me. Don't try to change me in any way. You don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I'd never stay. I don't tell you what to say. I don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young and I love to be young. I'm free.
Oh, I'm the biggest fan of her music. Leslie Gore, You Don't Own Me. I have her album. I buy very few digital albums off Apple, but I bought her album. Oh, I just love it. Yeah. I tried to bring it in here, but I burned it to CD, and it's just terrible. It's all scratched up because I used it for so many years. But occasionally I'll be able to squeeze a song in from Leslie Gore. Her brother Michael Gore is an Academy Award-winning songwriter. He wrote the theme song to Terms of Endearment. I think that won an Oscar, if I'm not mistaken. Terms of Endearment, instrumental song. He wrote the score to Terms of Endearment, Michael Gore. She was in a few movies. She's not a good actress. She was on Batman, the TV series. She was one of the... Catwoman had these helpers, and they had Leslie Gore on, and her whole excuse was to sing a song on Batman. And they gave her little cat ears to wear. And I think Julie Newmar was the Catwoman on that episode, and Leslie Gore is her little kitten, or whatever they call him on Batman. She was also in a movie called Ski Party, where she was on a bus going to a ski resort, and her whole thing was to sing. You know, she had hit songs, and I think she sang Sunshine, Lollipops, and Rainbows in that movie Ski Party. How do I remember that? I saw the movie back in the 60s. How the heck did I remember that? Leslie Gore. What else did she? She also starred. She was not star, but she was also in a lot of other stuff. Let me just look that up for a second. Now that I'm thinking about Leslie Gore, she, she seemed like such a sweet person. She passed away, Leslie Gore, but she was in. Let's see what movies she was in here. She was on Murphy Brown. I didn't know that. She was on the soap opera All My Children. Didn't know that. Here's Batman. She was in 2 episodes. She was the Pussycat on Batman. They don't list her other movies here. Yeah, she was in Ski Party. Huh. I guess they don't list her as an actress. Oh, well, this is really weird. They don't list Ski Party in here with Leslie Gore. Huh. Well, I know something they don't know. I have to look that up later on. I have to find out why they don't list her in Ski Party. Because I remember she was singing on the bus on the way in. Maybe it didn't qualify for an actress credit. It's 6:39 WRJN. I'm Don Rosen. I want to thank you for joining us here. Hey, if you have a text message for me, you can download the Civic Media app, go to WRJN and send me a text, or you can just phone in a text, 262-300-7445, 262-300-7445. It only works between 6 and 8 a.m., so you can't text me other than those hours, 6 to 8 a.m. 262-300-7445, 262-300-7445. One more time, 262-300-7445. I know you weren't born or woke up with a pen in your hand to write it down, but 262-300-7445, and text me if you want. And I check the texts every few minutes or so to see if there's anything nasty there about me. So far, so good. Nobody's writing anything nasty. From our news department, Stuart J. Waddle's in there watching things for us today. And according to Stuart, a 36-year-old man from West Dallas passed away in a Racine County car crash yesterday. It happened before 8 a.m. at Highway 38 and Emerson Road in Caledonia. Police say a PT Cruiser was trying to turn when it collided with a Hyundai. The West Dallas man was in the Hyundai, and the driver of the PT Cruiser suffered injuries that were life-threatening. An investigation into what happened is still ongoing. A judge in Kenosha has set a $750,000 cash bond for Crystal Kaiser. She's the woman who alleges that she killed a man in 2018 as a result of his involvement in sex trafficking. Kaiser is currently awaiting trial for that case and had bonded out thanks to area activists. She's also facing charges related to a separate domestic violence matter in Milwaukee. Following her arrest, Kaiser left the area and was eventually arrested in Louisiana by U.S. Marshals. And the water around the Fox River in Kenosha County still a foot above flood stage. The most reading this morning is still at 12 feet, with a flood warning remaining in effect until Saturday morning. Water has reached the first floor levels of some homes in the town of Wheatland and the village of Salem Lakes. We'll keep an eye on that. Stuart J. Waddle's in our news center. If you want to stay on top of the news, you can listen here on WRJN all day, or go to WRJN.com. WRJN.com. All the local news is there, or download the Civic Media app and go to WRJN. You can do it any way you want. We make it easy for you. If you want to hear our podcast of this show, get ready for this. We're everywhere. You can get our podcast at WRJN.com. You can get it at the Civic Media app. You can get it on Apple. You can get it on Spotify. You can get it on Google. You can get it on YouTube. You can even on the Racine Public Library, on their newsletter, they have a little WRJN thing when we have their guests on, and you get the podcast that way. There's all different ways to get our podcasts. So listen to them. They're everywhere. And then, of course, you can listen live in the morning if you want. Hey, Maggie Dawn's joining me this morning at 7:30. The Maggie Dawn Show is heard on WRJN and Civic Media from 2 to 4 p.m. Interesting background Maggie has. And she's pretty good. I listened to her. She knows her stuff. Maggie Dawn. She'll be on with us 7:30 this morning here at WRJN. It's 7:42. Looking for sunshine today with a high in the 60s. Cloudy. Chance of showers tonight. Lows 44. Showers tomorrow with a high near 51. Now, I put the weekend forecast on there because, we don't really know what it's going to be. We have an idea of what it's going to be. But I wanted to put it on there to make you feel good. Sunny Saturday, sunny Sunday, with a high both days in the 60s. Feel better? And get that yard work done. I won't say we. My wife was cleaning up the yard and picked up all the twigs and everything. And yesterday, we put them out in the street. And they picked them up before I got home. They were all gone already. The city picked them up. I don't know if you have this on your phone. My next door neighbor told me about this a couple of years ago. You can have the city text you when they're coming by to pick up the trash. They'll give you a one-day warning. And it comes up as a text on your phone. So I have that. You can go on the city website and sign up for it. It's real easy. Just put down your address and your email or text phone number, and they'll text you. And I get texts every week from the city saying, garbage day tomorrow. Good, thank you. So you can do that. That's where our tax money goes. That's not bad. Hey, we got baseball coming up this afternoon, 5:05, Milwaukee at Cincinnati again. The Brewers take on the Reds, 5:05 on WRJN. Just a quick reminder that Hospice Alliance provides patients facing a serious illness in southeast Wisconsin with quality end-of-life care. A community-committed, not-for-profit Hospice Alliance offers supportive care management, always on the forefront of patient-focused care and caregiver support. When seeking hospice care, ask for Hospice Alliance, the award-winning community-based nonprofit that gives back to education, services, and grief support. To learn more, visit hospicealliance.org, hospicealliance.org. I had to take my wife to the dentist yesterday, and I was sitting there while she was getting her work done, and I noticed something. When I go to my doctor's office, the same thing. They always have that Home and Garden Network on the TV. Maybe it calms people down. Maybe that's why they show it. And I said, I got to sit through an hour of watching this. And you know what? It wasn't that bad. They took they took this house. I used to live in Sandy Springs, Georgia, when I lived in Atlanta. It's just a suburb. And I lived there for a couple of years in Sandy Springs. And they were doing a renovation of a house. The person bought the house for $1.3 million. They did the renovation for like $250,000. And I got news for you. They really did a great job on that house. And I'm sitting there watching this. So my wife gets out, and I said, well, hold it a second here. I got hold on. I'm just going to finish watching here. I want to see their reaction when they see their house. I can't believe I got involved in this stuff, because when I sat down and saw Home and Garden Network on there, I said, oh, brother. But the two people, I guess it's a husband and wife team that do the renovations in Atlanta. It was really good. Now, I was trying to see if where I lived was anywhere near there. But if they were dealing with $1 million homes, it wasn't anywhere near I lived. That was back in the 70s, though. I lived in an apartment. It was interesting to watch. I never thought I'd like that network, but it was pretty good. Hey, a new study had people rate their assertiveness at work and had their coworkers rate them as well. They found the majority of people are delusional. 57% they're seen as pushovers, believe it or not. 56% of people are seen as jerks, believe that or not. I can ask the people around here, which am I, a pushover or a jerk? Those are your two choices. All right, here's an odd but true. In 2015, it was impossible to buy a flight to the state of Delaware. Delaware was the one state in America where you could not only you couldn't fly a commercial jetliner and only a private plane. That's odd but true. No flights to Delaware. Somebody put out a list of the best bad movies of all time. Now, these are the best bad movies. In other words, they're bad, but you'll enjoy them. They used to call them guilty pleasures. Anaconda, Armageddon, Roadhouse. Oh, I love Roadhouse. They remade the movie. I think it's on Netflix or one of those streaming services. But that was the one with Patrick Swayze. That was a good movie, Roadhouse. Flash Gordon, Showgirls. It was okay. And the Sharknado movies. I was never a big fan of the Sharknado film. The first one I watched. It was all right. But, I wouldn't watch it again. But, yeah, Roadhouse. That was such a good movie with Patrick Swayze. I didn't see the remake. I don't know who's in it. But we did read about that they remade the film. A radio host in Australia named Mario Beckis became a Guinness World Record holder. He recently hosted his radio show for 55 hours, 26 minutes straight. Let me tell you something. I did a 24-hour straight radio show here. We did it from Elmwood Plaza. We were trying to promote something. I forget what it was. And we were, it was a food thing. We were collecting food during the holidays. And they set me up, and I did the radio show. I was on the air for 24 hours on, it was WEZY. It was our FM station I was on. And we had a big board there, and we pulled down the hours one at a time, 24 hours left, 23 hours left. And I stayed there all night. I was by myself most of the night, but, people would come in and out. But, yeah, I was on the air for 24 hours straight. We have some photos of it somewhere. Yeah, it was kind of neat, It was okay. Did a radio show for 24 hours straight. I did go home to let the dog out once or twice because I had to let her out. But I never went to sleep. I was still on the air, and I lived right near. At the time, I had a condo near Elmwood Plaza, so it was only like a 5-minute trip right back home to let her out. Yeah. 55 hours, though. Never do that. 649 WRJN. Maggie Dawn coming up at 7:30 this morning. Going to introduce you to her background. She's on WRJN 2 to 4 p.m.
I don't even know how
news. I just checked it. Leslie Gore was in the movie Ski Party. The reason she wasn't on the credits was she played herself. And when you play yourself, they don't give you the credit for it in the IMDb thing. You have to look under self. Yeah, I knew she was in the movie poster. And I said, she's got to be in the movie. She was in the poster. So, yeah, she was in there playing herself, singing Sunshine, Lollipops, and Rainbows on the bus. I remember that. I can't believe it. They occasionally show that movie on Turner Classic Movies. It's not a classic, but they show it on TCM. So if Ski Party ever comes up, you can check for yourself. Yes, I'm ready. That's Barbara Mason. Wow. Sunny today with a high in the 60s. Looks like a cloudy night tonight. Chance of showers. Lows 44. Showers tomorrow. Highs 51. But for the weekend, sunny both days with a high in the 60s as of this point. It's sunny. It is beautiful out there. I stuck my beak out the door a few minutes ago, and the sun is coming up. What a beautiful morning. You know what I love waking up in the morning now and going out? During the winter, it's very quiet when I go out there. You don't hear a thing. Now when I head out to my car in the morning, I hear the birds chirping. And I love that. It makes me feel so good. I hear the birds chirping, singing, doing whatever they're doing, and I love it. And when I came in this morning, the sun was just starting to come up, and I heard the birds chirping out there. And I know what they were saying, too. Quick, his car just pulled up. Let's poop on it. I know what they were saying. I know how birds think. It's 6:53 at WRJN. One of the most annoying things you always seem to forget. All right? You ever walk into a room and forget why you're there? When you can't remember why you walked into it? Happens to me all the time. People's names. Oh, I hate that. You know, at church, when people do the praises and the prayer requests, I have to write their names on the board with their request. And I know these people. I've been sitting with them for years, and occasionally I can't remember their name. So I'll whisper to somebody in the front, what's their name? And they say, oh, that's Margie. Yelling for them, whispering to you. Don't yell it. Yeah, I forget people's names, too. You know, there's a trick for that. If you're with somebody and you can't remember their name, all you do is have to introduce them to somebody and say, oh, hi, this is my wife. And then you point to them and they introduce themselves. Hopefully. All right. How about phone numbers? You don't try to remember those anymore. I call my wife every day at work, but I cannot remember the phone number because I just hit her name and the word work. So I have no idea. Same thing with my daughter. We just touch their names on the phones. We don't deal with phone numbers anymore. How about passwords? I do remember every password. That I do remember. About that one thing you needed at the grocery store. You know, I go with a list. If I don't have a list, I'm in trouble. And occasionally I'll drive in the car. Oh, yeah, I want to get that, but I don't need to write it down. I'll remember. And I go home and I didn't bring it. I didn't get it. How about the date or what day of the week it is? Say with me, sometimes I'll forget because I work ahead. When I go home here, I do prep work for different days of the week. So I'm always thinking of different days. That's no excuse, but that's why I forget. How about where you left the phone? That I never have a problem with. Wallets, phones, keys. My wife does. I don't have any problem with that. People's birthdays. Well, my family members I don't have a problem with. Friends I do sometimes. I know the month or the time of year, but I can't remember the dates. How about forgetting to return someone's call? That I don't forget. I always remember when somebody, when I have a call I have to return. How about where you left your keys? No, I put them in the same spot every time. I put them on my dresser in the same spot. I never leave them on any other spot in the house because I have to know where they are. And that's the best way to do it. All right. How about this? Is this the best grandma ever? Was your grandma ever this way? This lady really had to work for it, though. Back in November, a woman in Massachusetts named Pat Morse bought some Taylor Swift tickets to one of her concerts for $5,000. Then it almost fell through. She bought them through StubHub for a show in May, but back in February, she got an email from StubHub saying there were no tickets available. The seller flaked, and StubHub claimed that there was nothing they could do about it. But Grandma refused to break her grandkids' hearts. So she went to her local news outlet, and StubHub said StubHub had a guarantee. So if something like this happens, you're supposed to get similar seats to the same event. And once her local news source got involved, they immediately buckled. Within 24 hours, Pat's granddaughters had better seats, 20 rows closer. One of them called it the best night of their life due to Grandma who wouldn't give up. See, my mother worked for the Department of Consumer Affairs for 21 years, and she knew what companies had to do to make things right. A lot of companies will bully you and say, nothing we can do about it. Oh, really? Well, here's what the contract says you have to do. And everybody's got a contract with a store or whatever. You always have a contract. And StubHub had to make good on it. Good for Grandma. Excellent. Speaking about grandmas and grandparents, odd but true, Mick Jagger has a great-grandchild who is actually older than his youngest child. His great-grandchild was born in 2014. His youngest child was born in 2016. All right, Mick. I don't think my grandparents were ever like that grandma. My mother was. My mother didn't give up on anything. My mother's famous for one thing in life. I'm pretty sure I've told this on the air, but in case I didn't. In 1974, when the Quarter Pounders came out from McDonald's, people were complaining they really weren't a quarter pound. So she sent out weights and measures from her Consumer Affairs office, and they went out to 6 different McDonald's, and they bought 6 quarter pounders from different stores, and they brought them back, and they weighed them. And not one was a quarter pound in weight. So she brought the people from the New York McDonald's in, and they said, well, they are a quarter pound before we cook them. After they're cooked, they lose some weight, but they start out as a quarter pound. So my mother said, in other words, before you cook them pre-cooked. They're a quarter pound. I said, yes. On every wrapper at McDonald's, my mother's slogan is on there, pre-cooked weight. My mother came up with that, pre-cooked weight. As a matter of fact, under Tombstone, I was going to write that on there, but people wouldn't understand it. But the lady at the cemetery who actually made the memorial stone, the headstone, said, you know, I know your mother was big in consumer affairs. Put consumer advocate on her headstone. And that's exactly what's on there today. My mother's headstone says consumer advocate, because that's what she did for 21 years, fought for consumer rights. I mean, I got stories to tell you about her. She fought the biggest companies.